it's not bad. Here is the card we are going to be creating today. So for those of you just now clicking by, welcome in to Just Stamp with Anna Marie. It is Friday, January 10 already. It is Quitter's Day, but not a quitter today. I am going to be sharing with you the 6 easy steps to create this fun pop-up birthday card. And I'm going to share with you the supplies, the tools that you need to create this. And I'm going to show you an alternative and talk about other things that we can do with this fun birthday celebration suite that Stampin' Up! Just introduced in the new mini catalog. All right, my friends, this is how it's going to look. Overhead, this is how it looks on a desktop or mantle. And let's get started creating. Remember, it's 6 easy steps. And let's just make sure I've got some. Oh, yay, Margaret's here. All right. And Margaret says she likes watching me. Thank you. I'm so happy that you're joining me today. So, here are the things we need to create this fun pop-up birthday card. I am using a card base of wild wheat. To me, this color is reminiscent of gold. I absolutely love it, and I'm going to be sad when it disappears because it isn't in color. I'm going to try to pop this up, so let's see if we can make it level out a little bit. So I need a 4 1/4 by 11 cardstock, same color, 2 3/4 by 5 1/2. And to mat my label, this is 3 3/4 by 1. And then I've got some white paper for stamping. This is going to be our message panel. And it is, let's see, 4 by 1 1/2. Should have done it this way. There's my label, which is about 3 1/2 by 3/4, I believe. And then we're going to decorate with the designer series paper that's in the Wildflower Celebrations. I think that's the name of it. I was going to grab my mini. Oh, I have it here, I think. Yes, indeed. So this is my suite that I'm featuring in my card kit of the month, my greeting cards kit. And I'm using that pretty paper called Wildflower Birthday. This is a nice stack. It includes 2 sheets of die cuts, and I'm taking great advantage of those die cuts. I love them. They're so easy to work with, and they help you make projects really quickly without a lot of stamping and die cutting. So those are the papers I'm using, and I've chosen this floral pattern. I need 2 that are 4 inches by 1 1/2, and 2 that are 4 inches by 3/4. And then from one of the die cut sheets, I've taken the fun layered birthday cake with the birthday candles. And we are going to be trimming this down. It's going to be the focal point to our card, you can see. And I'm also using the stamp set. So birthday celebrations, I'm using Blueberry Bushel and Pretty in Pink ink. And not having to do any die cutting, which is kind of nice, right? Okay, so we are going to start actually at step number 6. I'm going to do a little bit of the decorating. So step number 6 is to decorate. I'm going to take my focal point art and I'm going to trim it down. And I've made a note to myself here because I forget. I need to trim this down to 2 1/2 by 4 3/4. So let me chop a little bit off the top. Right now it's at 5 inches, but I want to go down to 4 3/4 because I want the candles to pop out when this is folded flat. By the way, this does fold flat for easy mailing. It's a little bit of a struggle because it's a tight slide right now. I think as I use it a little bit more. So that's what it looks like flat. And notice how I want the birthday candles popping out when it is flat. So trimming it down so you get the gist of the mechanics of how it's going to work. Super fun, right? I love that it folds flat into our standard size envelope. It's not too lumpy or bumpy, so it should be standard size postage or standard postage. Hello, Debbie. Thank you for joining me. So we're trimming down our focal point, which is from the Wildflower Birthday Celebrations paper. And this is such a fun card to make. I'm going to trim it down to 2.5. If it's at 3.5 right now, that means I need to trim it down an inch, right? I'm going to take off. Let me make sure. I'm going to be very careful because I don't want to muff this up. So this is the panel it's going to go on, right? And you can see it's not quite. So this layer is 3 inches, 2 3/4. So I need to trim this down to 2.5. It's at 3. I just want to make sure I'm doing my math right. I do not want to ruin this layer. So why am I so apprehensive about cutting it, right? I'm just a little worried because it looks smaller. 3.5, going down to 2.5. I'm taking the 1/2 inch on each side. Okay, I'm gonna hold my breath. Do you ever do that? Second guess yourself? Yikes. I just don't want to ruin the pretty paper. Then I'm gonna bring it down to 2.5. And I need my cutting blade there. And there you go. I just had to be brave and take care of that. Okay, so that worked out perfectly. I've got my mat that's 1/4 inch bigger, and we are going to be adhering that flat. And guess what? It's a new me. I'm going to try my Seal Plus. Oh, I was going to clean that to make sure that was clean. This week, Seal and I have been getting along, and I'm loving it. I have to be very careful with it because it's finicky in my hands. I know a lot of people have no issues at all. I've had lots of issues. I even refunded one of my purchase. Someone purchased it and I refunded it because it just wasn't working right. And I know that there's a knack to it. I just need to practice and get with it. So it's very nice just to run the Seal Plus and be done with it instead of the liquid glue. It's a little bit pricey when it gets ruined though. Okay, so there is my focal point art. Notice how it's a little bit short on this. That's okay, this is gonna be hiding. And that's why I was okay, or I was comfortable with writing directly on my layer. I can erase, it's not gonna be seen. All right, so that's taken care of. Now we're gonna go ahead and work on the base, which includes the mechanics. I'm gonna get rid of these layers in my little bag. Have you ever noticed that I tend to lose things? If you've been with me before and watch me demonstrate, I'm losing things all the time. I think it's just crafty, part of being a crafter. Okay, so I'm gonna be using my Stampin' Right trimmer. I am scoring, no cutting right now. We've already cut. And I'm gonna extend my arm on my trimmer and bring it up. Let's see if I can make a little bit of space here so you can see better. And here is where I'm scoring. I'm gonna get that cutting blade out of the way. Oh, I lost my cheat sheet. I hope I remember exactly. Okay, so 1 inch scoring, remember? 1 inch, and yikes. Again, let me see, I think I see it. Well, there it is. Okay, 3 3/4. Just, today's a day I'm just second guessing myself. Okay, 2 3/4, 3 3/4. So I'm just pushing along on my Stampin' Right trimmer with my scoring blade. I'm gonna push up to 5 1/2. And I'm gonna keep going. There's lots of folds on this. 7 1/4. 8 1/4. Let's move this down a little bit so you can see 8 1/4. And then 10. All right, so there we go. We have all these score lines. don't know if you can see them all. We're on wild wheat paper. It's a little bit hard to see maybe on camera. So I'm going to repeat that. It's at 1, 2 3/4, 3 3/4, 5 1/2, 7 1/4, 8 1/4, and 10. So lots of scoring. Now I'm going to put this back to the midpoint of the card, which is 5 1/2, and I'm going to cut. I'm going to cut that little slot where the card, the focal point, slides in and out. And I know I need a 3/4 inch margin on each side. So I'm at 5 1/2. My cutting blade starts at 3/4, and it's going to slide down to 3 1/2. And I'm going to lift the arm, and fingers crossed it's the right size. So I'm going to double check, looking for my focal point art. Yikes, I already lost it, really? Okay, where did I put it already? There we go. I don't want to put the trimmer too far out of the way in case I need to extend my slit. And it looks like it's fine. So see what I'm doing? I'm just putting my focal point right through the slit and ready to go. So step number 1 was to score. Step number 2 is to cut your slit. Step number 3 is to fold and burnish. So I'm going to flip this over. You can see my indentations. Those are my valley folds. I want those on the outside. So I'm going to start folding and burnishing. And then I'm just going to fold and burnish on each score line. Yeah. So this card, it's pretty magical, but it doesn't require too many steps. It's pretty easy to make. No die cutting, because you really don't want to have your focal point art layered. So no dimensionals, no embellishments on that focal point that's going to be sliding up and down. There we go. And then one more. I'm going to flip it over and do my 1 inch. Okay, so I folded and burnished, right? So step number 1, score. Step number 2, cut your slit. Step number 3, fold and burnish. And so you can kind of see how this is all going to come together. Step number 4 is to put your focal point art through the slit. And then I'm going to fold it at that 5 1/2 inch mark. And we're going to do a little bit of gluing. So we're already on step number, let's see what was. We're going to glue, which I believe is step number 5 already, right? And here's how it's going to happen. We are going to be putting glue on these 1 inch panels, the first and the last, okay? And they're both going to be folded under and secured. But we're first going to secure the focal point art to the back panel as it's folded up. I'm going to go ahead and apply liquid glue, and we want a nice aggressive adhesive. So the Seal Plus maybe, but I feel more comfortable with the liquid glue or a tear and tape because you really want this fastened. So this goes on the back panel. I'm going to slide down my focal point art, and I'm going to abut it to the base or that score line. So nice and straight, right like so. And I'm just making sure that oops, I kind of pushed it too much. There we go. All right. So it's adhered there. You can see my little glue mess. That's okay. No one's going to see that. Now the next step is I'm going to bring in the opposite fold, that top 1 inch panel, and I'm going to apply liquid glue there. Right in here. All right, and I'm going to fold it over to meet that bottom fold. So folding it all the way over, we're going to press down and secure. So You can make sure it's aligned. This is why I like the glue, so you can tweak it over just the tiniest bit so that it's flat. And of course, it's liquid glue, so it takes a little bit of time to hold. All right, let's see. And I'm going to close this up for now. Let's see if I can find, yeah. Burnish that down. Burnish it down. And watch what happens when we push down. It's popping in up already, right? So step 6, guess what? Decorate. And you can do any motif you want. This one's a birthday cake. It's a birthday card. And the way that it's going to fold, you're just going to push this back in. The mechanism will get easier to slide the more times it's done. So here's where the decorating comes in. I've got those panels that I mentioned earlier of DSP from the Wildflower Birthday Celebrations paper. So I have 2 that are 4 inches by 1.5. You can tell which panel they go on. And to a point, don't get tricked. So I'm going to bring in my new friend, Seal Plus, and I do have to say, I do find it easier if I'm using my silicone mat, right? There's something about that cush. So I'm going to go ahead and apply my seal. And this goes on the top 1 3/4 panel, so it's 1.5, and I have a border about 1/8 all the way around, right? So then I have a second panel. This one is 1 inch, so I have my paper that measures 3/4. That's going to be flat adhered, and we're going to align that, and I'm trying to get that aligned right so we have an equal border all the way around, and it's pretty straight, so I've got a straight line going on here, right? All right, so next I'm going to flip it over and attach my pattern paper to the top and center panel of the back as well. So what do you think? Does this look easy so far? I mean, we did the base in 5 easy steps, and the decoration is totally up to you, whatever you want to decorate with. I do have an alternative to show you as soon as we're done with this one. And then I'm going to do my 3/4 inch panel. So this is a really nice fun fold. It's not too crazy. I know some fun folds, it's hard to figure out how to refold them so that you can get them back to the original position. So let's see. All right. Oh, thank you for sharing, Margaret. I appreciate that. All right, so here we go. Look at that. We've got decoration on the front panel. We've got decorations on the top panels and on the back. And we're going to continue on with the decorating. We're going to do our greeting for the front panel. And for that, I'm bringing in basic white paper. And I'm pulling in my stamp set. So I'm going to use the Happy Cake Day. So I pre-mounted my Happy and Day on a H block, and you can see I have a gap in there. That's where the cake is going to go. I'm going to stamp in Blueberry Bushel, and I use my grid paper to align that. So my base is aligned, and then I actually cut my cake and have a gap in there so I know the cake is going to fit. So I'm going to ink up with Happy and Day. Makes it really easy when it's already pre-mounted just from trial. And I actually, let's see if I can do this kind of straight. Right there. Blueberry Bushel might be a little bit messy if it smears. There we go. Voila. And the cake I inked up in Pretty in Pink. So bring my Pretty in Pink out. And these colors, by the way, were taken from the pattern paper. So makes it really easy, and I need to move that original card out of the way before it gets inked up. So let's put that there. I'm gonna put, whoa, I've got ink all around. Okay, so then I'm gonna stamp my cake. I've already got it pre-mounted on a block. This is B block. And I wanna ink up nicely and stamp down. And there we go. Pretty in Pink. I am going to fussy cut the cake. I'm really liking this little fussy cut with the slight outline. And it just takes a few minutes, not too difficult. So the secret is to try and move your paper instead of the scissors. You've probably heard that before, right? And I'm just kind of going around with the curves of the pretty script font. I'm really liking the Pretty in Pink and Blueberry Bushel colors together. And that Wild Wheat, which is mimicking gold. All right, get rid of some of the paper. It makes it easier to fussy cut if you don't have too much extra paper going on. Sometimes it's a little bit wider than I like. All right. So Saturday plans, I actually have a Galentine's class going on. Not a big enrollment, but it makes for a nice, intimate class to sit down, craft, and just enjoy and get some projects done. And I always look forward to seeing crafters around the crafty table. All right, there we go. So there's my cake. It's not perfect. It will suffice. The idea is this is a really special card for the birthday person. And I'm looking for my mini dimensionals. Mini work great with the sentiments that are hand snipped, right? Because they get into all the little places. And you can even trim off, which I'm going to do, because that, let's see, what would that be? The E is very narrow. So I'm going to, and there we go. Might be bigger than I need. We'll see. And let's bring it down in here. Perfect. So, oops, actually I'm going to mat this down. I need that flat silicone surface. I'm going to put my seal right behind. I'm going to mat it down onto a 1-inch mat of Wild Wheat. There we go. And let's get rid of this. We're going to reveal the dimensionals. And I'm going to put it at an angle here, right in between my happy and day, right through there. And now I'm going to add that to my card front, that tiny panel. I'm going to pull this up so it's flat. Again, it's a little bit tricky when you first start sliding it in and out. This is going to get adhered, and it's actually the same width of this panel, but I'm going to do it kind of centered so it pops up as well. And the way I like to do that, I usually put strong adhesive right before the score line, and then the strong adhesive at the base of the score line. So Margaret says it's winter mix. So tomorrow, making cards, which I think is always a fun thing to do. The weather outside isn't great, so stay indoors and craft, right? Okay, so this gets matted flat, nice strong adhesive, and notice I avoided putting adhesive at the top of the banner so that it will pop up along with the cake. Here we go. Pulling that up. Oh, I'm loving it. What do you think? Okay, so we have another little, let's see if I can do this. We have another little embellishment from the Designer Series paper pack. You get so many die cuts, and some of them are just so sweet. Some are huge and some are small. And so I'm taking that little posy with the pink and blue, and I'm going to add it to my panel right here, and I'm going to make it pop off the label as well. Oops, sorry about that. And just putting a tiny bit of liquid glue. You could use a glue dot. That would absolutely work well. And I'm going to slide it right in behind here, popping up that little blue leaf. So sweet, right? What do you think? Okay, we're not done yet. Thank you, Debbie. She's just cute. Okay, I appreciate that. Okay, now you might be thinking like, well, where do I sign this little birthday card? Because right now it's just popping up. You could put a panel in the back, although I don't want that pop-up panel to be too thick or it's not going to slide in and out. So here's what I did. Well, we're going to repeat. This is the model card, and so you can see I have my celebration banner, and I have a nice little white panel so you can write a message and sign it there. The birthday celebrations has that stamp that's just a little banner, and the panel is 4 inches by 1.5, same as the Designer Series paper, and my banner is going to be pretty in pink. And I'm just kind of making a little party scene. Coming straight across here. Oh. Right, like so. All right. And then here's the thing. I want to add a second color. And this works out really well. This is the Stampin' Write marker, and this is actually one of the newer ones that has that bullet tip. So I'm going to make my string, or the ribbon that connects the banners. I'm going to make it wild wheat to bring in that color. And this is a great use for these Stampin' Write markers. Appropriately, these markers, well, maybe not this color, the 4 color families of markers, the brights, the regals, the subtles, and the neutrals. 2 of those are picks for the new starter kit offer. If you join during celebration, you can choose an option that includes 2 marker families and a special stamp set, or you could choose to just get an additional $30 in your choice of product. Now, I got to tell you, the markers are a great deal. When I first started stamping back in 2001, the markers were at the top of my list. They were actually on that list of why I bought the starter kit. And for several years, I used to offer a marker club to get the complete set of markers over time so that you could have all the colors. So it's kind of nice that Stampin' Up! Is offering the markers now as an incentive. It's a great deal because it's like over $90 value with the starter kit. Or you could choose the $30 and product in your choice. Now, you could use my favorite liquid glue, or you could use the Seal Plus. Look at that. I had no issues with Seal Plus today. Mark this day down. Not a quitter. Although it's been a while since I was brave enough to get my Seal Plus out. So that's what it looks like flat. It will fit into the standard size envelope, so you can mail it off. And I think this is one the recipient could figure out. You just got to pull up and press down, and it makes the little pop-up display. Happy Cake Day. I'm thinking this is pretty super cute, right? There it is, flat and popped up, made with the cake celebrations and the wildflower birthday paper. So you will want that cake birthday celebration. It pairs nicely with cake celebration as well. And if you need ideas on what to do with the bundle, the stamp set, the paper, well, I've got you covered. This month's class is the birthday celebrations class. Look at this super cute tote that's included. That's our 3D project this month. Your class includes a share of the paper, the pretty gold thread twine, and a share of the party dots. And these are the cards that are included. So happy birthday. We're using those die cuts. Hooray. Make a wish. And a fun fold happy day, which fits also into the standard size envelope, and the tote. So the class itself is $34. If you're local, it's free pickup. If you need it shipped, it's an additional $9.50. And then plus I offer the add-ons at a discount. If you need the bundle, you can add it on for no tax, no shipping, or just the stamp set as well. The class is open until the 20th. So I hope that you can join me. I hope you like today's easy fun fold in 6 simple steps. And if you like this video, if you like the class, please share it with somebody else who might enjoy it. If you came in late, you can click over to Just Stamp with Anna Marie over on YouTube. The video will be up by tomorrow, and I will be offering the PDF. It should go out over the weekend. Fingers crossed, we'll see. Sometimes I'm a little bit tardy on getting the PDFs done, but there's more. Let me show you my alternative. I almost forgot. This week I'm offering a free class to go with an order of $40 or more. The class is focused on the Shaped Hearts celebration set, which is this, and I'm pairing it with a super cute stamp set called Hearts and Hugs. Yesterday I shared, or sorry, the day before I think it was, I shared a Galentine's Day card that was well received, and I'm pairing my pop-up card with the adorable badgers that are in the same set. So the stamp set has that cute little hamster / gerbil, whatever it is. It's got the badgers, and that's what I chose to use with the heart-shaped, and it says, "My heart loves your heart." Another Valentine's card, super cute, with those badgers that are hugging, and then the bottom says, "Sending a big hug." So actually it goes this way. When you pull up, goes that way. My heart loves your heart, sending a big hug. So there you go, with the free celebration bundle, heart-shaped. And it pairs nicely with my free class of the week. All right, my friends, I am going to sign off. I will see you next week for a new free class. Thanks for joining me. And again, share if you like and leave a comment as well. I appreciate your comments. Have a great weekend.